All right, we are live, and we've been live for like 10 seconds. My apologies. Welcome back. It is Thursday. It is noon my time, and we're here to review some wedding films on Wedding Film School Live. I am joined today by Jay. Once again, how's it going, Jay?
It's going really wonderful, really great. I'm in the middle of one of our, it's not our most busy time of year, but it's one of our most high pressure, intense times of year for the wedding kind of thing.
That's a good way to put it.
We have a lot of, almost every wedding we're doing is high profile. Almost every wedding we're doing is destination or overnight or multi-day. Everything is, the stakes are high in October around these parts.
It piles on. It piles on. Yeah, I'm, fall for me is usually, and I feel like this has shifted, is my busiest time. Like, I got a break in August. I think I shot one wedding in August, maybe. And then I just go like every weekend from September through October, because at least here in the Midwest, not too many people getting married after like November. Or if they are, they're very brave. So
yeah, I'd say September, October is our most busy time of year.
Yeah,
up in New England.
But I like it. Good weather. It's pretty. You get a wide range, right? You get some like summer feeling days. You get some fall feeling days. End of October, we might even have snow.
It's randomly 84 today in Massachusetts.
I like that. It's like 60 something here.
I wish it was.
It's cooling off. A lot to talk about today. A few things, a few films. We're trying to, really dress this show up a bit more and make it more than just reviewing films. We always like to have a topic that we.
Yeah, we might as well talk about wedding filmmaking, right?
Exactly. That's what we're here to do, and it's nice to touch base as a community. Just myself and Jay, and then hearing you guys off in the comments as well, because the reality is we are all in different stages of our careers. We're all making, some similar work, some different work, whatever, doing things the same, doing things differently. But in the end, we are all experiencing a lot of the same things. So always nice to touch base. And one of the things that we wanted to talk about today, and I don't know, Jay, are we going to talk about this now, or you want to do a film first, or what are we feeling?
Why don't we just kind of get into it? Because I think it's something that it's in the title of the video. So anyone who clicked on it was going to want to hear about it.
There you go.
And B, I think it's interesting. And then maybe we'll reference it again later. So for those, we're going to get to the film reviews very shortly. So those of you that are panicking, you can just fast forward the video if you're watching it later, or just chill.
What's up, Jovan Films? Idaho. Beautiful state.
But before we talk, I want to remind everyone, if you're watching the video, help us out. Drop a like. It's not that tough. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the bell. And we just dropped a video yesterday about Google Drive and the newest changes they've made. A lot of people do not like this video, by the way.
We're getting some, I wouldn't say, yes, that's true. A lot of people don't like it, but a lot of people do like
storage
it.
People.
It's like 50-50, right?
Yes. People who like to tell other people that they're idiots don't like it, but people who are.
Jason is getting, if you want some entertainment, Jason is getting dragged in the comments in some.
Well, what's funny is like they think that they're telling me something I don't know.
Yeah, we're very aware.
And I'm like, I know. I thought I addressed it in the video to shut you up ahead of time.
Yeah.
But like,
the internet.
The average person is being affected by this Google Drive, Dropbox, getting rid of. It's not just that they got rid of unlimited storage, people. It's that now their storage is significantly more expensive per terabyte. It's like very inaccessible to the average person. And like, not only is it more expensive, you literally can't buy enough storage to even use the platform.
And I think it's important to note that, like, there's people making good points. I think I agree. You kind of address them on the forefront. Maybe, you could.
They're not wrong what they're saying.
Yeah. But the thing is, they're viewing it from, you're right. It's storage people or whatever. Like, it's not necessarily people who are our target demographic always. And so like, we're trying to, we could get really, really technical and in depth in the problem, but we can't, it doesn't work on
I don't
YouTube.
think anybody wants me to explain object storage.
Exactly, for the most part. So you're right. They are technically right, but I think this video is actually super, super helpful. It was actually, Jay, one of the topics that we talked about in our Wedding Film School Live, a month and a half ago or something, whenever these changes started getting announced. So if you haven't watched it already, we would recommend it because it's a big change and a big shift for the industry.
Yeah, it's literally
the changes to storage.
I think the average person, they're not storing what I'm storing, but they might be storing
Also true.
15 terabytes. That's not unreasonable.
I mean, I'm not like you, Jay. I'm not like doing 200 weddings a year. I've got, I think, 35 terabytes.
It's easy. And like, yeah. It's like, why would you bother with Amazon Glacier that's going to have all these restrictions when you can use these other platforms? It's like, that's not what it's for. It's like, says who? Says a bunch of nerds. But like, they're the ones who literally courted filmmakers. They literally have like, Dropbox targeted. Literally has like a tier where they say perfect for video.
Do you know how many targeted ads I've gotten in my lifespan for Dropbox Unlimited?
They literally
unreal amount.
Built their business off telling filmmakers that they could use their platform to store footage.
Unlimited.
Yes. Anyway, so
Michael, what's up? I actually just kind of recently scrolled through the comments as I was kind of setting up stuff for this stream, and because in YouTube you get alerts, right? And I was like, oh, we have a bunch of comments. I was like, ooh, this is a mixed bag.
Anthony asked, is there a reason Backblaze wouldn't work? Backblaze would work. Backblaze is actually like basically cold storage. Yeah. That's how they're able to offer the price, but it's still going to cost me $7,000 a year.
Yep.
And I decided that's not worth it to me, and I just dropped $13,000 on a giant NAS since I'll just own it.
Do it in-house.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Anthony, now I haven't used Backblaze personally. I have looked into it. I looked into it a long time ago.
They're nice people over there, by the way. I like Backblaze.
Yeah, and I've nothing against them, but I will tell you why I'm choosing not to use them. One, so my understanding, and I know internet speeds play a role, but my understanding, Jay, and maybe I'm wrong here, is that it's pretty slow.
Because of how they're doing it. That's why their prices are lower, because they're doing the same. They have a little more of a hybrid model, but anyway.
I have two other reasons. One, again, my understanding from my research, and I could be wrong, is that, yes, there's the archive side, right? I want to have all my stuff safe in the cloud or off-site. But for me, there's also the side of I want to be able to pass my files around to an editor or somebody else involved on something. I want to be able to access my files from wherever, whenever, and Backblaze doesn't do that.
Imagine these companies like Tolman Media. They're cooked.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
well, they were already cooked.
No, but I'm saying like companies like that are cooked, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
and then the third
their
reason,
cost just tripled.
Oh, yeah. If yours is $7,000, I mean, it's absurd. And that's the cheap way. And then the other reason for me is I know you have to like plug in your hard drive every year or something. And if I already have to deal with like that, I don't want to have to swap drives back in just to like connect it to Backblaze. I don't want to do that. I'd rather just, like Jay said, either do a NAS setup or, something like that. So,
I mean, at the end of the day, like we'll make a video on it once I nail mine down.
So stay tuned for the comments on that one.
Most people who are in our industry should, in my opinion, be using a combination of hot storage for transferring to couples and editors and other people who need access to like consumer level products, and archival storage. Yeah, it's best for their finances because the per terabyte. Twitter just did something. And I think it's just the change that's about to happen is like people view the internet as a free thing. I always tell people, I'm like, everything should cost money. Facebook should cost money. Everything should cost money. All the costs should be right up on the consumer because then the consumer's in charge, right? And they get to make decisions about like, I like this or don't like this. And if people don't buy it, it goes away. Instead, the money's on the back end with ads and all these different things. Well, with storage on the internet, it's not like that. And so these people, like these server requests, whether it be like Twitter just started charging for API requests. which used to be free. You embed like a Twitter thing on your website and you're calling the API. And it's like the dealing with these big companies servers now, they're going to start leveraging that on consumers now and making people pay for this stuff. And, you know, on some level, I get it. And on some level, I'm okay with it. On another level, it's like, it's going to be a big sea change. And a lot of people
we see both sides.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to really struggle, I think, with the adjustment of, oh, wait, everything costs money now. Everything costs money now. You know, and I'm going to have to, like, pay for everything. And so, like, everyone's going to need hot storage. I really believe filmmakers need hot storage. And enough of it. And I don't think they're
my workflow.
I don't think they're offering enough. I think 5 terabytes is not enough hot storage. I think 20 terabytes should be the minimum that you should be able to buy, even if it's $200 a month, $300 a month. Like, okay, it's expensive, but I think that's accessible.
But you can work that in if you say, okay, well, I'm going to shoot 3 weddings a month on average or whatever. Like, you got to work that into your pricing. You can divide it out. It's not that bad. So,
yes, and I do think everyone's going to need a cold storage solution soon, and we're going to have to get educated on it. And like,
it'll be interesting. We should do like a 1-year update. You know,
I'm going to get my. I ordered a 24 bay NAS. Right now, I'm going to fill it up with hard drives. I'm going to download everything and then set it all to archive. And then I'll have my 3 NASs in the office, and we'll have them all doing different jobs, and I'll do my best. I'll try to educate the community, show them how we set it up, and maybe it'll help some people. So, but anyway, Bobby.
I say, wait. Before we go on, I say we do a film and then come back to our discussion that we completely got off track on.
We were going to talk about, but we'll tease it, just what we're learning this year and some stuff like as filmmakers and also business owners in the wedding industry, what we're learning about in 2023. But our first film is from who, Bobby? I'm going to get it ready.
First film, I will say in a second. First film is coming from Courtney, from Joel and Courtney Films, and I believe that we have.
Yes, I very much like their work. It's very pretty.
Yeah. So let's see. Shot on XT4s.
I believe they're Australian, right?
I think so too. That's what I seem to recall. Anyway, shot on Fujifilm XT4s as well as some Super 8. Love this wedding. These two are also wedding photographers, videographers, so that's cool. Put a lot of thought into their day and all the little details. We would love some help with our storytelling. Feel like we are still at a pretty basic level and would really like to improve. So let's try to focus on storytelling if we can. That is what we got.
Are they a member?
I don't believe so. Yeah, not that I see. So again, real quick recap while we get this set up for you guys. The way this works, we're going to watch the film that we queue up. If you are a member, we will watch more of your film. We'll watch about 5 minutes of your film. If you're not a member, we'll watch 2-ish minutes. We might skip around. So if you want to become a member, it starts at just $5 a month. Gets you a bunch of things in addition to that. So check that out. You can hit the little join button down below next to subscribe if you are interested in that. But otherwise, we are going to watch through whatever amount of the film we are going to watch through. And then we're going to talk about things that we love, things that we think you should lean into, things that we think are your strong suit as a creator, as a filmmaker. And then we're going to flip that and say, here's some things that we think could be improved upon, or really with the focus of being like, hey, these are the things that you should focus on to make the biggest impact for your next film. And again, we are not giving you a grade. We're not saying, hey, this is an 80%, this is a silver medal, whatever. We're kind of meeting you where you are at to help you the most. And we do have Joel and Courtney in the chat, which is great. Welcome. Cool. Anything else to add to that, Jay, before we...
I think we'll watch... Let's see how long this film is. Why don't we just watch the whole thing today, just because I feel like it, and I'm the boss.
That's a good point.
So, and I want to be able to give them actually feedback on what they asked for, and
that's true.
I think it'll be interesting to people.
Exception.
Anyway. It's good.
Exception made.
It's good work.
All in favor.
All in favor, say aye.
And we want to hear from you guys in chat as well. So if you have thoughts, things that you loved, if you're like, whoa, that shot was really cool, like, sound off in chat. We want to hear that 21, too, and I'm sure they would love to hear it as well.
There's a bunch of people in chat right now, and I love it if you can drop a like. It helps us a lot. So go ahead and drop a like, and we're going to watch the video.
Sweet. Clouds.
To Bianca,
Flowers.
my wife.
I'll just narrate everything. Ooh, I
like
love that shot.
Bianca
Yeah.
instead of Bianca.
I think that's pretty cool.
Ooh. It's the Australian version.
That's
though.
I
inappropriate.
think we're both in disbelief.
Leave some room
that
for the
we're
Holy
actually
Spirit,
living out
people.
What we've been dreaming about for so long. I know planning this wedding has been a long journey, but I'm so grateful for your patience, attention to detail, and impeccable style. I'm so lucky to have found my person so quickly and to journey with you up until this point and far beyond it. I love you so much.
What's your frame rate on your Super 8? I'd love to know. Is it 18 or 24?
We're from Africa. In some parts
like
of
that,
Africa,
Michael?
you don't know your bride or groom until the day you get married. But for the two of you, you've known each other since grade 3 already. It's been amazing to just watch you grow together as a couple, how you became friends, went to the school formal together, and then have fallen in love as well.
Bianca, my ever dearest, the day you were born,
18, Jay.
I held you in my arms under the blue light. And like most new parents, nothing else mattered in this world. Those same arms had to let you go today and deliver you to your next journey in life. Your mom and I will always thank God for giving you to us. To see you guys come together makes Elaine and I proud and happy.
That guy did not look happy. The guy holding that. I thought it never rained in Australia.
Wait, are we sure this is in Australia? Joel and Courtney, please confirm.
Bianca,
What's
May,
going on there with the
soon to
audio?
be neither. Who would have thought, almost 6 years ago, that we would be standing here today exchanging vows? Not us. Because you
Yes.
were adamant that we
Ooh,
wouldn't
love
be
that
friends
shot.
after high school. Bianca, I can't begin to describe the feelings I have for you, the warmth that you make me feel, and the blessing that you are in my life.
Josh, I've never felt as safe as I do when I'm with you. You've allowed me to show up as I am, and I know that I can trust
Love
you
that,
wholeheartedly, and that I am loved no matter what. It's a true home for my heart. I promise to see you and to listen to you, to encourage you, to pray for you, and to empower you in our lives together.
For the very first time, Mr. and Mrs. Josh and Bianca Nardi.
When I'm not struck by your beauty, I'm overwhelmed by your kindness. You bring out the best in others, your compassion is unending. Your nature is so graceful, and your passion is inspiring. You are an answer to my prayers. I'm so thankful for your selfless love, your abundant generosity, your attention to detail, and your love for Christ.
Is that the first look? Joel and Courtney, is that the first look?
I'm sure they'll let us know.
Yeah, because I'm curious about that. It looks like it, and I like that use of super.
Were they both dressed?
Yes, it looked like a first look. I like that use of Super 8 is my point because, surprise haircut. Yeah, I like the use of Super 8 for that because it grounds the moment. Anyway.
The days when I don't see you feel incomplete, and the days when I do, I never want to end. Your essence is so pure. Your love is
I love that
Wait, that's
surprise
a thing,
haircut.
right?
is where I find
Yeah,
What?
people are doing that now.
I
Like
love that.
surprise haircut.
So fun. It looks beautiful too. It's a good haircut.
I love you, Josh, from my little grade 3 crush to my best friend, my high school sweetheart,
Oh,
fiancé
so
and
this
now
is the longer version.
I promise to love you every day until my dying breath.
Yeah, okay.
Cute dog.
There's no dancing, or am I missing? Did we miss that?
No, I didn't see any.
Okay, so there's a lot to like. So what did you like about this film, Bobby?
Yeah, things that I liked. Some of these honestly, what it was just a lot of really intentional shots that I really liked. I love this shot,
beautiful.
Of the house or whatever. There are some very good, even this shot I love as well. I usually ended up talking during them and saying, whoa, I love this shot. So scroll back, you'll see a lot of shots that I really, really liked, where I just think the use of light was really great. I love things like this, a little abstract, that kind of like shadows, things
But
like
it tells
that.
the story. This is the weather.
Yeah,
It's honestly like we're always looking for, as voting filmmakers, like, how do you say, here was the weather today, without just showing the same shot of a tree?
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
Yeah. And so important to note, Joel and Courtney saying that there was no dancing. It was a brunch reception. There was a first dance of the couple. But yeah, so a lot of just really good shots here. And then I'm going to come back to the 8mm later in the change, whatever, things that we think could be improved upon or whatever. But there are some pieces of the 8mm that I really, really like. I really like some of the shots of just the bride. I think we hear it when he's saying his vows during the ceremony. We see some of that. I also really like, we kind of stopped on it, that we thought it was first look, but that reaction, just super, super good. And just to capture that in 8mm is really awesome. So yeah, I think those are some of the things that I really liked about this wedding.
I think beautifully shot. They always really are just such excellent cinematographers. Very sensitive, I think, to the people. You know, I think it's a very grounded, personal film. It has a very homey, kind of connected vibe, and the couple seems that way. I mean, I felt that guy's emotions throughout the whole film, and then like the lightness she brought to the relationship too, like with some of her the way she like, oh, I just got my hair cut, and she's like messing with her hair. It's just good storytelling in terms of people portraying people, like allowing people to connect with them as characters. And of course, beautiful. And so let's talk just specifically about the story. Like, don't like. I don't think it's I like or don't like, because
it doesn't work like that exactly.
Sometimes I don't like it.
True. Okay. In this scenario, it doesn't.
In this scenario, I look at it. I was confused by the film. I couldn't understand what was happening, and I always question that with wedding films. Does that matter? If a person who doesn't know anything about the couple or the day, if they feel a little lost watching it, is that bad or good? You know? And I was a little lost. Once you mentioned, surprise, haircut and brunch, everything, the film felt a little better to me, actually, because I understood the context of what was going on.
We understand the context, and we understand, as wedding filmmakers, we understand the restrictions that come along with that.
Yeah, so
or the changes, let's call it.
So is that good or bad storytelling is the question. Is if someone watching it doesn't know what's going on and feels a little lost, I don't know. I would say this, the couple will know.
Yeah.
And obviously you're making the film for them. So that's one aspect about the storytelling, is maybe, possibly find a way to ground people a little more in the occurrences of the day. I don't know how you could, but
yeah, that's the tough thing, is like, I don't know what you could do differently in this scenario. It's like, I agree with that. It's like the context makes a huge difference in this. But also, I kind of wonder if that, as wedding filmmakers, the context is important to us because we have expectations already.
I don't think so. I think a person, unless this is very common in Australia, but
true.
I think a person watching this would go like, what is this? a little bit, and I think that would be a fair question. So in terms of the strengths of the storytelling, I think I kind of said, like, I think storytelling was one of the strengths of the films, which is it's like an intimate piece made for these people. I think in terms of improving the storytelling, the only thing if this was important to me, if this film was like important to me and I really needed it to communicate certain things to my next potential customer, I would probably try to do something outside the wedding day.
Yeah, little a little adventure shoot or something.
Or interviews. Or
interviews,
something. There's a lot of audio, so it doesn't necessarily need audio. It needs context. It needs context. I don't think it needs audio. And so I looked at it and, this is another film, not there, blah, blah, blah. I looked at it and I thought, like, I don't think the storytelling is a problem.
I don't think so either. But here's what I will say. And these are, I think it can go alongside your storytelling a little bit. I don't think it's a problem, but I know you want some insight there. So I will share two things that I think are along the storytelling side. And the first one is that, and again, given the context, we know the restrictions, but I felt a lack of like a build up to anything or like a payoff maybe.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that and just stuff I thought they could do better.
Yeah, we did have the music. It was towards the end of the first song. We're kind of transitioning to the ceremony, and that was kind of the highest point of your music as it's ramping up. And we didn't really visually ramp with it, in my opinion.
Yeah, but wasn't it like I remember thinking that, and then I remember them saying they didn't have any dancing, and it was just a brunch, and I was like, I guess they couldn't really.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it has to ramp to dancing, because I'm also talking about probably, what is this, like 6 or 8 minute film or something?
But that's what I think the other session and maybe some drone work.
Exactly.
Or some stuff where you can infuse a little.
Like almost like take us back out to this like self-encapsulated moment or montage or whatever that visually represents the kind of ramp up in music. And even if there's an energy, they have a really strong connection. They are great on camera, and you get awesome shots of them. So maybe something visually there.
Well, and maybe I think going along with what you're saying, like she has a lot of joy.
Yeah.
And her energy wasn't communicated as well in the film as his energy. Like I felt like it was very much, he's like very composed and eloquent and well spoken and thoughtful, and she's bringing this fun vibe, cutting her hair as a surprise. That sense of like spontaneity and like fun, I feel like could have been brought out a little better in the film, and maybe it would have felt a little more even. It was very, very, very low key the whole time.
Yeah. The only other thing that I would say is related to the 8mm, which I think you got some awesome stuff. I like the incorporation of it in the film, but in my opinion, I think that there was some 8mm stuff that, like, I would have reserved the 8mm for specific moment. I love this. I love the shot of just her. I think I kind of mentioned some of the shots I really like, but then there's some shots of like guests arriving to the ceremony that I just don't love as much.
See, I love that.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't dislike the shot. Like, I don't dislike having that in the film. I just dislike doing it on 8mm, and I think that it takes away some of the impact of the other great and well-placed 8mm shots.
Here's my take on it with 8mm. To me, 8mm Super 8, not normal 8, but Super 8, or any kind of weird thing like that is used to show common moments in ways that I think are more interesting. And so like some of it is capturing like the way that a person would shoot with an 8mm. What are the types of things that like, that's the whole vintage vibe, is like, this is like uncle pointing it at the back of the room with the aunts arriving. So it's like, I would rather, Super 8 is the only time I want to see shots like that. I just think that like, I feel that like, it's shot 8mm.
In the moment, in the space, Super 8 in in some of the other great moments that were captured. I don't know.
I'll take like a shot of like the group photos on Super 8 over on
100%.
like any kind of moment that I'm like,
Yeah.
"Ugh, I don't want to film
It
this.
just dresses it up. It brings it up a notch.
Well, it also
Makes it more interesting.
It lowers it, actually.
Yeah.
It makes it like more personal. So those are very personal moments, but they're not cinematic moments.
Yeah.
And I think
I see that. I don't know. I think I agree with that to a point. I just feel like
hey,
some
to
of
each
the
his own.
8mm lost an impact for me because there was a lot.
Jared hates all the dad cam stuff, and I like it. So
Matthias, this was shot on Super 8, or pieces of it were shot on Super 8.
very
Pieces
beautiful.
that you see.
Okay, just the one thing I was going to say that we kind of have touched on it, they can do better, and is I think like when you know you're going to go into a day that's going to be this low key, you have to have a plan to give it a little energy, a little joy. That's just my opinion and my sensibilities. When I watched it, I was like, it's a little too low key for me. Like I want to see a little more dynamics and a little more energy. It kind of feels like this. I know the situation though, so I know that would have been tough, but I think if you have the ability next time you're walking into a situation like this to plan out a way, and I don't mean like crazy hype song or something that doesn't fit your vibe or brand at all, but just something that brings a little dynamics. Even if you just stop the music entirely for a second and have people talking, or just like it, the film kind of goes like this. And you really need it to have dips, and it's when you start really low, it's really hard to go lower, which is why I always say like start in the middle then, and then go down. Like me, either start bigger, go down, or end bigger, but like just give it a little more peaks and valleys.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't dislike a very subtle, intimate film like this, but I do agree that there needs to be a little bit of
a little bit
dynamics as we on the story arc.
Even ultra calm. Like go all the way calm or something, but like just do something to give me a little break from this. So, but it's good.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much for submitting, Joel and Courtney. We always love looking at your work, and this is a great film as always.
Really good.
So with our first film of the day done, let's jump into what our topic. If you clicked on this link and you were like, when are they going to talk about this? They're only doing a film review and talking about storage. We're going to talk about, just briefly, because we like to have a topic besides just films, what we are learning as wedding filmmakers or about wedding filmmaking in the 2023 season. We are all coming towards the end of our season, or at least myself and JR. I think, some of the states in the South are kind of maybe just entering their season. They don't shoot a lot in the summer. So as we kind of reflect back on this year and this wedding season, we just want to talk about a few things that we feel like we're learning. And, we are always learning. I think that's important. I think that's important with any, especially creative career path, to never just sit still, to always be learning. We have, I don't know, we're each well over
we're old.
10, 15 years. Yeah, we've been doing this a long time, but we're still learning. That's important, and I hope you all are as well. So as we discuss things that we're learning in the 2023 season, we'd love to hear from you in comments as well. If you
comment on that, what's the big takeaway from the year? I'd love to see in either comments or in the chat so we can just get the conversation going. So, Bobby, do you want me to start? Since I forced you to talk about this. So for me, this has been one of those years. It's been a kind of a hard year. A lot of work. Just going. And so sometimes you, in the middle of that, kind of go on autopilot. And so I think the first thing that I keep learning is you can't do that as an artist. And I don't mean you can't have systems or you can't do things that that make it easier for you. I don't mean you have to agonize over every decision. I'm the opposite of that. I think you show up, you shoot the wedding. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about really looking at the work you're doing and making sure that the work you're doing represents you, that it is good enough, that you're paying attention to the details still, that you're really caring still about your couples.
Yeah, you're not just cranking out a film just to crank out a film.
And our work is great this year. Like, I'm not saying I've seen slippage. I'm saying, like, maybe, like, I didn't do that. Maybe I was involved, and I have stayed connected, and the work has, I think, stayed improved, and just how important it is to really, really, in the heat of battle, still keep your wits about you in terms of, like, being a wedding filmmaker. And if you don't know, if you're, like, watching this and you're like, whatever, like either you're new, you haven't really done, like, a full season yet, or maybe you're doing, like, 5 wedding films because you're some, person who's reached that level and you don't care, who knows. Most people, if you're charging, like, average price and you're shooting the 25, 30 weddings, like a lot of people are, it's easy to just mail it in.
Yeah.
Not just wedding after wedding, but edit after edit.
Out a little too. You just you stop caring because I think it's really hard to care.
Yes. It's hard to care about. This is why we do these film critiques, right? Because we're trying to place the value of, like, caring.
Yeah.
Like, I want people to know how this is how I am successful, and this is how you can be successful, is by caring about the work that you do. And by really, really, really putting an emphasis on it. So that's one thing I'm learning this year. And I have one other thing. But what are you learning this year?
I think 2 things stand out to me. I think one is the importance of just relationships in this industry.
Me too.
Oh, go us. And I think that takes many forms. Like, one, there's the community side, like even just having Wedding Film School here, having you and Jared, having people in my local market, that it's always nice to have people where you can run things by other people who may have experienced similar things. I think that's huge. And then I think the other side of that relationship thing is, like, I've never pushed hard. Like, I've always had great connections with, some handful of photographers and planners and venues and whatever, but I've never really pushed that stuff hard. And I think I'm learning that you need to, and not like, don't overstep your boundaries or whatever, but, like, I kind of just always assumed, like, oh yeah, they like me, I'll be on,
or they like your
list
work
or whatever.
They're like, oh, they're good.
Work.
I want to work with good people, and it's not how it works.
Yeah, it's not. And what I think that I see a lot locally is kind of these, they're not bigger players, but they're people who are doing more your style, Jay, with a handful of teams or whatever. And I think that they just are doing a better job with planners and stuff, like putting in the extra effort. And so I think that's something that I've tried to kind of correct a bit in 2023. I think that I'm seeing, some good results from that and things like that, and just kind of seeing the importance there. And then the other thing for me, man, I hate to say it, but I feel like I've combated, Instagram, TikTok, and vertical videos and short form content, because I've always been stubborn and, I want my films to be viewed the way they are. But that just doesn't really work. And so I've had to add that into my workflow, like get some vertical stuff out, do teasers in multiple formats. And I think I'm still figuring that stuff out. I'm still learning that. But I think the ultimate overarching thing, learning that, like, it really does need to be a part of your workflow, even if you hate it.
I think what is valuable to planners and social media are typically the same thing. And
Yeah.
I think I'm learning, and this was going to be my thing, is, like, I'll do a story time. Like, I worked with a planner for the first time, and she's, good, but she's not like a celebrity planner or whatever, but she has people with budget. And before I went into the day, and if you're not doing this, you need to be doing this. Every time I work with a new planner, I look at their website and I look at their social media. I see who they're working with that is not me. I decide if quite frankly, am I better than these people? So, like, am I bringing something to the table to this planner? Like if I give this person this reel quickly, will it matter to them? Will it help them? And so I worked with this planner, and she was really, really like, I liked their work. I liked their branding. I felt like the types of clients they had we would do well with. So I went to the day, I did my very best, and I shot, and I said, hey, listen, I made sure to let them know, oh, I would love to be working in your market the day of. Oh, she's like, oh, we would love to work with you more. I spent I wasn't buttering her up. I was having honest conversations about what I want out of the relationship and what she wanted. She's telling me, oh, no one, I said to her, hey, I'm going to get you something by Wednesday.
Yeah.
No one does that for us. It usually takes 6 months for filmmakers to get me things.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll do it. And I got it by Tuesday, by the way. And, and, you know, I wasn't sure it was going to turn into anything, but like you shoot your shot. You do your best when you have the opportunity. And I think it's part of it is I have experience, so I know who to really, when I have an opportunity, that I think is really what experience does. It tells you, is this an opportunity or is this not an opportunity
that I should pursue? What level should I pursue this at?
Yeah, what level of extra effort should I give? And so we got this to her, and you know, we didn't hear from this person. Like at the day of, she's like, I'm telling her about our brands, how we have Huxley Film and Stop Go Love, and I'm like, oh, most of your clients I think would be more like Huxley Film clients, because she's like, oh, totally, right? Because it makes sense for her market. And then she sends us an email, 4 inquiries. A couple weeks later, 4 inquiries, and I can't, I don't know. The client might not, her clients might not choose to work with us, but it's like the relationship is legitimate now. This is a person who I gave value to. She gave value back. We were complementary in terms of workflow. My work complemented her work. Her work complemented my work.
And it goes beyond that too. It's trust. Right.
Yes.
She trusts and she knows that if she brings in these high-end clients, whatever, you are going to represent her well. You know, also is a big part of that.
And it's just like that's a social media thing too, though. And so it's 2 in 1 is really what I'm saying. Like, I made sure to get her content that works on her page, and I do it quickly. And I have been hired several times this year by planners just to shoot social media content for them, to the point where we are creating a separate a page on our website just for planners to buy social media coverage for their brands. Like, because it's important to them. I've gotten and I'm learning that a lot. Like, I've finally figured out, like, we've had a couple semi-viral things, and some of them are like story-based and some of them are fashion-based, but it's like, it all comes down to collaborating very tightly with the wedding planner, where it's like her brand and your brand are in sync and your audiences are in sync, and then it goes really well. And I've learned that, like, even down to like, this is just my situation, I can't speak for everyone, but like what thumbnails work. Like for us, sometimes we're still going to do it, by the way, we're going to put a couple's face on our thumbnail. But I'm telling you, like, if I put decor, way higher engagement. Because who's shopping on Instagram? It's brides to be.
True.
They want to look at what they need to purchase, which is decor. They're looking for wedding inspiration. They're not necessarily interested in another person. They're interested in researching things for their wedding. And I've seen, that's just what I've seen. I can't speak for every market and every person, but I'm saying, like, we're figuring out what works for us on social and also works for our partners, and having a collaborative strategy has been a game changer this year. We've had so much more results.
And that's an ongoing thing too. Like,
it could change next year.
It could change next week.
Sure.
You know? So yeah, that's always something. I would love to know, as we kind of queue up our next film, Jay, hearing from you all in chat.
What are you learning?
Things that you are learning? What are things that, you know, come to mind when you hear that? Like, okay, 2023 recap. What did we learn? Sound off in comments. We'd love to hear, and if any of them pique our interest, we'll maybe touch on them. But we'll get our next film queued up here.
Do you want me to do the do you
want to show your the
film
So
this is a new film that we're releasing very soon. And
first look.
This is a first look. Don't tell the couple. This is the one that we had shown the scoring for, that one live stream. how to do the custom score, and I wanted to just, hey, this is where I'm at. I might change the color a little bit more, but I'm pretty happy with it overall, I think. And the only thing I'll let you guys know about it, it's got a lot of quick cuts, and those might not translate totally great to streaming, but
yeah, we'll get choppy.
Feel free to rip it apart, say it's good, say it's bad. You want to critique my film, Bobby?
No.
All right. Well, you can.
I'd rather save my critiques for the next film.
Brandon Rice will critique the film.
Yeah, you in chat can critique.
He doesn't like the spinnies.
Is there a lot of spinnies?
Not a lot, but it's got a few, and I like them. They're well placed spinnies. Some are in camera spinnies.
Spinnies in my films. Ooh, you know what? I'm not gonna give it away though. I found a really interesting way to get some spinny shots.
You don't want to just be standing under every chandelier. Every filmmaker.
Well, that's a given. But
here we go. Here's this film. Oh yeah, sorry. If I mentioned it before, but then I was like, no one. If you didn't watch the other stream, you won't know. So the second song in this film, we played all the music. It's custom scored, and it goes into a song that the brothers wrote and played. And I extracted the vocals and put the vocals over our arrangement. So it's got a song written by the bride and groom, or the bride's brothers, I think. Maybe the groom's brothers. I can't remember. But the brothers, and they're playing this song that they wrote. And I think it just makes the film a lot more personal, especially because we have a lot of over-the-top elements, but I always want to make it more personal. And then all the other stuff is mini DV. And it was shot on Lumix S5 II and S5 IIX.
This unique moment in both of your lives, as you continue your journey, co-evolving, distinct but intertwined, your bond will only deepen.
You know you're in love when you can't fall asleep because reality is finally better than your dreams.
This is the part that is scored.
Being together.
Yes.
Correct.
Growing together. Together. We share a certainty that family is not an important thing. It's everything.
Did you guys shoot the mini DVJ?
Yes.
Tonight, we are
Did you have a dedicated
family,
person for that?
ready to get up
I just would
and
take it out.
dance and sing
But also we give it to the
and celebrate Henry and Lexi.
we gave it to the
and
family
their awesome future
Okay.
together.
and had them take it on tour, like on bus tours, and we would hand it to people.
We're here to celebrate love, your commitment, your friendship, and of course, we love celebrating Henry and Lexi. I mean, you all mean so much to all of us. And the fact that you're all here, it's so special. And thank you for coming. It's time for all of us to unite and reunite. I love all you being here, I really do. It's so exciting.
Hey, take a look at this place. It's the place that we made. It's the place where you came from. No, you don't have to look far. soil and in the stars. Love, love, look, it surrounds you. Love, 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 it surrounds you. All you have to do is love.
I did want to say one thing too, Bobby. This couple specifically wanted a romantic, chill film. So it's not my personal favorite. Like, and if you're like, oh, this beginning is kind of like, the middle is kind of boring. This is what they're gonna like the most.
Yeah.
This not boring section, but this more low key section.
Yeah.
All the hype stuff was for me, so I think they'll like it too. But most of the film, I was like, I want them to love it. I don't want it to be something that they are like, this doesn't represent us. So in case you're like, wow, this is kind of dragging, I think they're gonna like it better. Play you.
Play.
What could possibly be going on right here, Bobby? What? Have you ever seen a QuickTime video? Just stop playing. That's weird. That's bizarre.
Weird. Well, I love this film so far, Jay. I will fill this void with me saying that. What a cool backdrop in that room, that building across
how much
the
you
street.
mean to Henry.
Yeah, that's the Prudential Center.
rounded,
That's like an iconic
beyond
building in
happy.
Boston.
for
That's
that.
probably a $5 million apartment.
Wow.
It's in the Four Seasons.
When I first met
Okay.
him, that I even told my parents, I want a Henry.
Sweetest people.
Amazing, and you could not ask for a better
They
son-in-law.
they seem
than
awesome.
Henry and I love.
Great family.
Was this a multi-day?
When I think of Lexi,
Yeah,
my
multi-day.
beautiful daughter, there's three things that I always think about. I think intelligence, I think confidence, and I think empathy.
That band was
When Lexi
unreal.
knows something's right for her, she knows it's right.
How many shooters did you guys have?
3 shooters, 1 assistant.
It was 5 years ago that we stumbled upon each other. And while that night was a blur, as we got to know each other, it didn't take long to realize the incredible person I found. When I look at you, I see someone I could only hope to be. The most inherently kind, sentimental, and thoughtful person I've ever met. With you, I feel complete.
Your big heart, with endless capacity for love and compassion, has made my heart bigger.
Yeah. What's funny
All
is
of
like the
this
room is
for the
normally
man that you've made of me.
Like,
I promise my whole self to you.
not that nice.
Lexi,
Yeah.
having you as my wife is
But they
beyond my
just
wildest
killed it.
dreams. And above all, I promise to make sure you never forget that. I love you always.
Now pronounce you husband and wife.
Spinny. Oh, double spin. The cool caress. Oh, champagne towers? That's the thing. That's what I've learned about 2023.
So that's the film.
Love it. Jonathan asking, did you set up lighting for the ceremony, or was that kind of set by?
We lit them.
Set up. Okay.
A little bit. Like we lit them coming in the door.
Okay.
Because that's the issue with those all the time is we did not.
It's so dark back there.
It's so dark back there that the exposure's ugly. So we lit them a little bit, but not a lot. It was so hot on the stage. There was a ton of light. And I know the lighting crew really well. And so I collaborated with them on all the lighting for the entire event.
Okay.
So I was like, hey, this is where we need lights. This is where we need lights. Like, we did light the toasts a little, but it was, again, maybe we didn't even have to. Like, the lights were pretty good the whole time. So, yeah.
What camera are you setting up and leaving there during the setup and takedown process?
Oh, during the time-lapse camera?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I used the Black Magic. I actually don't like it. It's just so different. The reason I use it... Sorry, I burped. The reason I use it is because I have a bunch of long-form power strategies that I like so more.
It's easy to just leave it.
So it's easier for me to leave longer. I have like AC power for it and stuff, so I can just plug it in and run it. But the thing I don't like about it is like it's just like the color is so different than the other cameras, and I just have a really hard time. Like it just draws me out of the film every time I see the footage. So you know, it's I think a little better on the B-raw side, but when you're doing the time lapse, it's gonna do ProRes.
Gotcha.
So it's gonna bake the color in. So I have less of an issue with like ceremony angles and stuff that we did B-raw. Much easier to color match, but yeah, but it was Black Magic for the time lapse.
Dang. Well, I think that film is awesome.
Thank you
I'm
very much.
excited for you to send it off to the couple. I'm sure they will love it. And I love the approach of saying, look, I mean, obviously the scoring and all that stuff aside, which is very unique and cool, and I'm sure they'll love that. I love the decision to say, hey, I know what kind of film that you want, and I want to lean into that, but I also think that you're gonna like this, and also leaning into that to some of the more.
Well, what's funny is the couple was like, we're low key. We want a romantic film, blah 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 blah. But then
they didn't necessarily reflect that.
They're literally crowd surfing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
so I think you sometimes need to pick up on that and say, look, this is the film that needs to be made.
That's why we did it, because I was like, I want to see what they actually do. And like, yeah, they were pretty low key until they started having fun. So I was like, okay, they give me permission to go a little hard. They literally brought in a DJ from Miami just to party. Yeah. Like this crazy band. Like they cared about the party side. And so I think the film had to reflect it a little. So anyway, let's do one more film.
Yeah, we've got one more. Let's do it. It is from Michael DeLuca, who is in chat.
Someone who does not suck.
Used Sony A7S IIIs, handheld all day. Felt good about the morning preparations and the story they were trying to tell. They wanted a super cinematic and epic film, so I thought this song would be a great choice. The difficulties were definitely the reception portion. The entrances were crowded. Very tough to work around, but we did it. Had to bring in a third videographer to help capture that portion of the night. Yeah, let's do it.
That's the thing, man. Knowing when you gotta pull out all the stops, get more people involved. That's the skill.
It is with great joy that we have come rejoicing into the house of the Lord for this celebration. And it is in that joy that we now stand with Romel and Rita on the day that they intend to form a home of their own. This is a moment of unique importance. Through Christ our Lord, for this couple, his servants, that he lovingly accept them, bless them, and make them always one.
Song of Solomon 3:4. I have found the one whom my soul loves. Today is the day we've both been patiently waiting for. You are my best friend, my confidant, and my rock. You are the answer to all of my prayers. You inspire me to be the best version of myself every day, even in the toughest times.
I vow to provide you, support, and protect you just as Joseph did for Mary. I vow to be your rock and remain to be a solid foundation just as Peter did for the church. I vow to love you through thick and thin, no matter what life throws our way, just as Abraham loved Sarah. I vow to promise you my loyalty and dedication, just as King David was loyal to God. And lastly, I vow to embrace the sacrament of holy marriage and take the step to become one flesh with you, just as Adam did with Eve.
I know that this marriage won't always be easy, but with you by my side and Jesus at the center of it all, I'm confident that we will be okay.
That guy just went through the whole Bible with his letter.
He went book by book.
He's like, all the characters, I'm going to be exactly like all of the Bible characters, except the ones who cheated on their wives.
Okay. I know that a life with you is a life with amazing adventure, and I cannot wait to experience that. Thank you for loving me unconditionally and for being my forever. I, Rommel, take you, Rita,
I, Rita, take you, Rommel,
to be my wife.
to be my husband.
I promise to be faithful to you in good times and in bad,
In sickness and in health, to love you and to honor you
to love you and to honor you
all the days of my life.
all the days of my life. Rita, receive this ring
Rommel, receive this ring
as a sign of my love and fidelity in the name of the Father
and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit.
and of the Holy Spirit.
Congratulations. Please seal your love for each other with a kiss. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor and privilege to introduce for the first time as husband and wife, Dr. and Mrs. Rommel and Rita Abu Akleh.
That was like your logo.
Yeah, cool logo. Sweet. All right. So let's see. We made it through the film. Jay, what are some things that you liked about this film?
All that orange silhouetted stuff is
Yeah.
awesome looking.
I was a big fan of that.
There's, you know what I would say too is like, I felt like they were everywhere and they got a lot of just like the. It wasn't one of those films where I'm like, where were you during this day? Like,
Yeah. A lot of coverage, and part of that comes with having 3 filmmakers.
Yep.
Sure.
So I think the coverage was very solid, and I think obviously a lot of the shots were really good. It particularly, like, I liked a lot of the portrait work, especially this stuff was. I feel like this was when like their style matched with what they were couple was giving them the most.
Yeah.
It was very dreamy and like, and I liked the way that they covered a lot of like dance floor, and they brought good energy to the film. And the editing was tight. It was a tight edit, which is,
I would agree.
Is good.
Yeah, I think, like Jay said, really good coverage. Again, I know that comes with 3 shooters, 2-3 shooters, whatever. But I think the other like continuance of that is having that much coverage is what allows you to make an edit like this. So this is a great example of knowing in advance, like you said in the whatever the form submission, that you knew they wanted an epic. What did you say? You said epic cinematic film, I believe. And so knowing that and knowing the amount of footage you need kind of for that and stuff, I think it's the right play to bring in more people to get all that footage so that you can make an edit like this. Because I think a fast-paced edit relies on having a lot available.
And that takes experience too, right? To even know when you have to.
For sure, yeah.
When you're like, I can't. Honestly, how many times have you
can't do
seen
it by
people who are
myself.
like, oh, I'm a solo shooter? And I'm like, that's why your films suck. Like, your films would be
I have had that
so much
conversation with people, yeah.
better.
And I've now become more of a solo shooter in redoing my collections, and I wish more people would add a second shooter. And sometimes I'll just say, like, if you want to film like this, we need to have a second shooter.
Or
if
even
your
a day
schedule's
like this.
Exactly. Yep. But yeah, so that I think there are some, again, really good shots throughout. I really like the silhouette stuff as well. I think there are moments of the edit or pieces or parts of the edit that I think are done well and that I enjoy as well. But flip side, or are we ready, or did you want to add to that?
No. Let's talk about, because I think this film is like almost great.
Mm-hmm.
And it's missing some elements. And I think the first question I would have for you, Bobby, is, do you think this couple in this day would be epic and cinematic?
Like, did I think, or do I
Do
think?
you? When you see this, do you think epic, cinematic?
Not necessarily. I don't think there was anything like super over the top throughout the day.
So my question is, how did he get that information? Did he give them 3 options to pick from, and they picked epic and cinematic, or were
it
they?
Just comes up naturally through the conversation, or
So I think some of these issues are like, I brought it up before. Like they said they wanted a certain thing. Now they didn't just say I want it this way. They saw 2 films or 3 films of ours that they were looking at, and they specifically pointed at the one I think is the most laid back, and they said we like this, but not so much this one.
Yeah.
Which is like really up there and crazy. So my definition was my definition. Like I knew what they were looking for based on work we had previously done. I wouldn't say this is uncinematic, but I think there's a little bit of a mismatch, and some of it could be how it's shot. Now, this is what I'll say. One, and I will talk about some camera issues too, I think, because I have some serious issues with some of the exposures and the color matching is just all over the place. But in terms of cinematic, what they were going for, look right here, Bobby. I'm going to show you a detail, and I want you. What would you do differently with this environment?
You're talking about the sparklers. I know that's not
Sparklers,
the
room. Look at this floral wall.
Yeah.
Did you see this floral wall all in the film?
No.
You didn't see. Did you see this
didn't
table?
See any of those? Yeah. So one of the things that I was going to say is the reception details I felt were lacking, kind of just anyway. But I didn't even know that it was done up like that.
I just caught it.
And that's a problem, kind of.
I just caught it. I didn't even notice the sparklers until I just passed through it. And
I noticed the sparklers because I have a love-hate relationship with those things. But
so here's the biggest thing I'll tell you. First of all, more details. Second of all, you need to shoot wider. Like cinematic.
Where's the room?
The room, you never once, you didn't have a wide shot of the ceremony. You didn't have a wide shot of the couple. You didn't really.
Space.
It was just all. It's distinctly not high end when you only have mid frame. That says I have limited lenses. I was right in the couple's face. We didn't compose anything. Like wider shots.
I can't do a vertical cut.
Exactly that too. Shooting wide is, I think, the number one thing. If you go look at really high end filmmakers, they have a lot of beautiful wides, especially of the reception areas, locations, even during portraits though. Even during portraits, they back up and they intentionally compose a couple because a wide shot tells a different story.
Yeah.
Wide is, by definition, more epic. Tight, by definition, more intimate. Right? So if you want films to feel epic, you need to give people scope. And I feel like the film lacks
too.
Yeah, that too. It lacks scope to me. It felt like a small wedding, and I was like, just seems like a normal wedding. And then I'm like, no, these details are crazy.
Yeah.
That is
really nice, like
really gigantic, huge, and like when we see them, you're seeing like extension cords on the ground. Like I don't think they did the reception like this shot right here. That shot of the details is not nice looking.
The room.
Yeah,
that's turning or rotating. That
bad font. Don't like that logo. No offense, couple. I wouldn't put that in my film. And then that shot right there, it's not the lighting setup. You got to tell them like, can we set the lights the way it's gonna be?
Yeah.
Like,
can we kill the lights and put my own lights on it?
Or no, they have pin spots on every table. Just get the room lights off.
Yeah.
Like just really valuing this portion of the day with your film.
And I think my guess is that I know Michael's in chat, but my guess is the rebuttal to this, again, my guess would be we showed up to the venue, guests were starting to come in, we had 3 minutes to capture the room empty.
If you're doing an epic wedding, you tell the couple, I tell the planner, I need a room clear in the timeline.
Yeah.
I need a room clear in the timeline. I put my best shooter on the details, not on the cocktail hour.
They're important.
Anyway.
Cocktail hour. Sorry, keep going. I know you had more.
No. That's just what I'm saying. Is like it didn't.
Yeah.
It could have been a lot more epic, and I'm realizing why it didn't seem epic, because I think if you would have shot it differently, it would be a lot more epic feeling. But it's all tights and mids the whole film, and it needs you. If you don't own an ultra wide lens, you need to get one if you want to be in that like luxury space, and you want to be shooting what is perceived to be epic films. It's not just about the music that you pick. It's about what you show people. And the last thing I would say is the color and the overexposures. It could be the LUT you're putting on that's pushing over your things, but it is some of these places, it's not a nice looking image. Some are nice looking. Like right here, you got these ultra blue green skin tones from
that's black black suits that look green.
Well, they're Mediterranean skin. These people have Mediterranean looking skin tones. So that's some of it. But then some of it is you have tinted windows on a hotel, which are very blue. But I'm looking at this and it's like, oh, look, like his face is blown out. And it's very blue or green. Like look at his skin right here. It's just not that nice looking.
I think it's in the shadows.
And then this image right here, like look at that beautiful halo light on them.
Yeah.
That image should look great. It looks kind of muddy and it doesn't look that nice. And I just think like you got to have more attention to detail on like what you're like right here. Her skin looks orange and like strange. And then right here, it's a totally different skin tone. And throughout the film, like her skin is different here. Like you gotta like, it's very hard. I don't nail it either.
Yeah,
but like
it can be tough for sure.
But your black levels are changing. The way you're handling highlights are changing, and the way you're handling skin tone, especially with the couple, is changing. Like we might disagree and like on a color grade, but I'm not gonna rip people too much if they feel really strongly like about more greens or more magenta in their color. But I will say like if you are inconsistent throughout the film, that's when I have an issue.
Yeah.
So.
Things that I'll a couple of quick hitters. One, I would have ended. I would prefer if you ended on a different shot. It's them coming down the aisle. I get the moment, but I always like seeing. I think just something else because I don't think it's your best shot. It's not bad, but it's just
I don't think it's a great shot. I mean, I don't think
I don't think it's putting them in the best. I don't
he
think
doesn't look
the best.
He doesn't look great.
Yeah,
he looks nervous.
Second, there was a pocket in there. This is another quick hitter one, and then I'll get into two kind of more whatever. There was a pocket in there that was just like wedding party after bridesmaids, after groomsmen, after solo or individual shot. Like it was only, maybe 6, 8, 10 shots.
How do you feel about showing this guy a bunch?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you never know what, like clearly, at least if this is not the case, it's a big mistake. But it sure seems like this is a very religious couple, based on their letters to each other, or at least his letter for sure.
That's true.
So, you know, I don't know. I would generally avoid that, but if you pick up on that, I think it could be a big part for them. So I kind of see that. So then the two kind of more, you know, maybe let's call it more nuanced things. One, okay, I don't really like the term, like, they want a cinematic film. Cinematic, I'm actually thinking about making a video for this channel, but cinematic is such a, like, thrown around about everything. I know, and that's not blame on you at all, Michael. Like, they might have thrown that out there, so I get that. But it's really hard to focus on that. But focusing on epic, I think, is a little more easy. And so I think there's two things. One, I think this film was put in a container, kind of like Jay said, where you just said, like, they want epic, so I need to make it epic. And I think that there are parts of this film that you did a really good job with that. But I think that the downside of that is, you know, how long is this film, Jay?
It's like 4 minutes.
4-ish. Okay. So there is just straight up 4 minutes of epic. Like, we needed a breather. And I think part of that is, you know, a lower point or a shift in the song or a change of songs can bring out more emotion, but it also helps make your epic moments more epic. Like, it makes them stand out. Whereas if we're just getting, like, you know, beat over the head with this epicness for 4 minutes, it kind of numbs you a little bit.
Well, and it's also like epic can take a lot of different forms, right? And this is like very moody epic. It's almost like, I think playing on like tension is good with your song, but like I also think like having relief and romance or lightness or joy or excitement, like some emotion opposite than tension is good. And I think this film would have definitely done well with a little bit of change of speed.
And then the other thing that I'll say is kind of going on that cinematic epic, right? You have a lot of these like dark shots, not dark in exposure necessarily, but like some of the intro shots we see of the building, of the dress. There's a lot of black. There's a lot of use of light, a little moodier, right? Let's put it like that. There's some of this, the dancing. There's even some of the prep is like utilizing some harsher light. And we kind of talked about the exposure there. I think you could have even brought it down. It would have matched that. But then one of the things that I have an issue, and the silhouettes, which were great.
Why did they run that extension cord across the ground? Like,
I wonder what that's for.
That's for those sparklers, but like,
sparklers, yeah.
What an idiot
like right
that
there.
guy is. Like, literally, at least gaff it down. My God.
I'm surprised that didn't.
Dude, that would make me so pissed if I was at the wedding. I'd be like, somebody hire a professional.
But all that to say, so you have all this moody, this contrast, whatever. And then some of the portrait stuff for me just did not match that. And a lot of it is that you're in a woods on a path. It's more greenery, but the background is just absolutely blown. And it doesn't match that. Like, that's the perfect scenario to make a moodier, like, bring that exposure. Like,
yeah,
this.
I didn't like that portrait location.
And it's not necessarily that bad. It's that I think it stands out in your film. It doesn't match.
It made it look like they got married at a country club.
Yeah. So again, and like, this is a great film, and I'm sure they love it. So,
yeah. By the way, we're ripping it apart as if it's bad. It's actually very good. It'd be in the upper echelon of any market. So like, I fully acknowledge that. I'm looking at this from a standpoint of like,
we're looking at this saying like, we know that you know what you're doing very well.
This to me is a minor thing, but a major thing, I guess, is I will not backlight a dress like this. This dress
like
right here, you can't backlight.
That's lacy and see-through.
You can't backlight this. You can't do these.
I have sometimes, but I will say it's not usually that intensive backlight.
Well, look at me and Jared call those the chicken breasts.
Yeah.
Like, they look like you have two like little raw chicken breasts inside the dress floating there. And it's like, so
pinned at the top of chat is the place to submit.
But yeah, this is just me. I would probably look at that dress personally and be like, that looks kind of weird, like two floating boobs.
To me, I think putting it backlit would be an absolute last resort. That's when I've done it.
But I would even just adjust my exposure maybe to like I don't know. Like,
yeah,
I just
mine
think,
are not. I did one recently where I had to. There's no other place to put it, and it was a lot. I didn't blow out the background or anything.
Yeah, it's just like I just try not to show just floating. Like that's not how she wants the dress to look on her body. It's supposed to look like her skin. And so if you're calling attention to the fact that there's a weird bra built into it, I think that's not how they want the dress to be seen when it's on her. So that's the thing about a dress shot is it should show how the dress is going to look on the bride to the best of your ability.
Small detail. So yeah, thank you so much for submitting. And yeah, I think hopefully you're able to take this stuff. Again, we're not trying to be like harsh on the film.
It's a good film,
but it's a good film. I think there's a lot that like
he's very good.
Yeah, small changes could really impact that a lot. Cool. Well, that is what we've got for you today. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. We hope that you learned some awesome things. We hope that you enjoyed our chat about what we are learning in 2023 or what we've taken away from the 2023 season. We will be back next week, as always, unless we tell you otherwise, at our normal time of 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 Central, 10 a.m. Pacific. You can start submitting your films now. It is pinned to the top of chat. It's just weddingfilm.school, and then click on the live review tab and send us your films. Anything to add to that, Jay?
I love you. I love you all. I love you, Bobby. You know.
Leave a like on your way out. Consider becoming a member if you want priority in getting your film reviewed. You can hit the join button down below next to subscribe and check out the plans. They are cheap and they help support this channel more than just the live streams. We've got our podcast on our sister channel, the Wedding Film School Show. And we've also got plenty of educational videos. We just dropped a recent one that you should check out right now. Go click to our channel right now and check out our video that is all about the death of cloud storage. And bonus, go read through the comments because it's a fun one. All right, guys. See you next week. Thank you so much for being here.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya, Bobbert.
See ya.